What's happening? What's happening? Y'all know it's Landlord from Alabama. I got Tim from Straight Talk Giants right here with me, man. How you doing today?
I can't complain. Talking to a Cowboy fan, so my day started here and just fucking went down here.
I
But that's
understand. I understand.
I'm just joking. We love the Cowboys here in Giant Nation.
Yeah, I know that. I know that's the truth because we got a presence up there too. So we are America's team. You know what they say. We all over America. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's where we're gonna. I forget. When's the last time you got one of those ring things?
Hey, we got more than y'all, so it don't
When
matter. So
was the last
it's
time
been a,
though?
it's, it's been a lot. It's been a little time. You know.
Roger the Dodger? Roger Staubach? No, it
It
was
ain't
Danny
been
White.
that long. It ain't been that long.
I can't remember, but we do have a game on Sunday.
We do. We do. We have a matchup on Sunday, and I like the energy coming in because hey, with sports you need some good old trash talk. So I mean, I don't think
Always.
y'all gonna be doing much of that this Sunday, but we'll see. How you feeling about the game, man?
Uh, as a giant content creator, I'm going to say great. As a fan, I'm going to say wonderful. As a realist, I'm going to say we have we got our work cut out for us going into Dallas. I mean, last time we won in Dallas, Eli Manning was a quarterback. I mean,
It's been
I
a
think we
long
had
time.
I think Rashad Jennings was our running back. I mean, we have not won. I mean, we have not won there, and like I said, in a long time. And the way
Well,
this Giant team is situated right now, I think there's an opportunity against the Cowboys, but we're gonna have to play almost a perfect game.
I'll say from that take right there, I'm gonna have to hit you with one of these right here.
Trap,
I'm
trap,
gonna have to hit you with a trap, baby.
trap, trap.
Cause I mean, you're a realist, and we haven't lost since Dak's rookie year,
Yeah.
so that's a pretty dangerous streak. I think he got a chance to make history, if I'm not mistaken, for the most consecutive wins against one team, I believe. So with this game right here, so hey, anything happen when stuff like that, I feel like it's a little janky. I don't know if you understand my lingo. You from
No,
up
no, no, no.
there.
Listen, man. I always tell people, yeah, I get it. I get it. You are literally walking into you could be literally walking into the proverbial buzzsaw because the Giants understand the trap game better than anyone,
Yeah.
especially over the last 5 years. We win a game we shouldn't win, and then the next week the game we should win, we lose by 35.
Yeah, see, the only
So
reason I won't be alarmed about it being a trap game is because we ain't got shot at his first win yet. We still searching for that, and then on top of that, we don't want to go 0-2 in the division. So if it was just a normal situation, like say for instance, if we would have beat Philly, if we would have beat Philly and then came into playing y'all at home, that would have been real dangerous then. Like I feel like we probably would have underwhelmed in that situation.
well, you got to remember we don't want to go 0-2 in the division either. I mean,
Nah.
we had one divisional win last year. Oh no, sorry, we had no divisional wins last year. We had one home win. I keep forgetting
Yikes.
we only won. I keep forgetting last year we only won 3 games because I kind of try to block that shit out. But we had no divisional wins last year, so we are looking. This is now that I'm thinking about it, this literally is a perfect trap game for Dak coming back off the injury, coming back after not playing extremely well in Philadelphia. I was actually at that game. And it just
You
seems
said
like
he didn't play extremely well.
I don't think he played. I don't think he played. He played better coming back from the first injury than I thought he would after an extended period of time off.
Yeah.
But would you say that is a quintessential Dak Prescott game? Oh, he lost. So yeah, I guess you went and lost. But
Well,
kind of is.
coming from a Giants fan, I don't think you should do that. But I'll say this: Dak played great. Really, he really did. It just was the drops for the most part to me. Like CD, and Miles Sanders fumble. I feel like them was two of the most pivotal things that cost us the game. If it wasn't for those, think about this. If it wasn't for Miles Sanders, we would have had 5 touchdowns in a row. If he didn't fumble that ball, it would have been 5 TDs in a row. I don't care what form or level of football you can go to. That's pretty damn great, right? That's pretty great. 5 TDs in a row. Miles Sanders screwed it up.
Did CD find his arms? Because
I hope he did.
I just assumed they fell off.
I hope he did, because listen, I know you keep it real on your end. I do too. I went at CD head. Like my fans probably still mad at me because I went super hard on CD. Like I played wide receiver many moons ago, so I know the level of disappointment I felt from CD was crazy. Cause we know it goes off if you don't catch it. If it touch your hands, it's supposed to be a catch.
Yeah.
Like it's no excuses. Like especially if it touched two hands. like if it touched one hand, it's supposed to be a catch, but two, you supposed to be for sure a catch. So that's a problem, man. That's a problem with CD. And then they said that he's been leading the league in drops over the span of time he's been in the league. So that's another problem. So I mean, I don't look at him as a player that dropped the ball. I think it's due to the volume of passes that he get, because we throw a lot of them at him. So if you get more attempts than everybody, you probably gonna be pretty high in the drops too. Not making no excuses. I'm just putting a little logic on it. What you think about that?
Well, unless you're someone like Jerry Rice,
Jerry
who
Rice,
you throw, or Randy Moss, or any of these players that you throw extensively to, and they don't drop them.
Hey, you got me. Like I ain't making no excuses for him. I just try to throw him a little ball.
I think he is one of the best. I think he's a top 5 wide receiver in the league. He was a player that when he came out, he was the player I actually picked for the Giants to go get. Yeah. Because you could see that he was dynamic. You could see that he would be a proverbial game changer. So we have Malik Neighbors now. I still think CeeDee Lamb is above Malik Neighbors because of the fact that he's more polished. And Malik has drop issues as well. I mean, there's a couple of games. There's a game last year that we probably should have won, but he dropped the fourth and 7, which ended the drive that we didn't get another opportunity to get the ball back though. But between CD and Pickens, and Dak, if you guys could find a running game, because if you're relying on Miles, I call him Booby Sanders. So you got Booby Miles. So I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, if you guys could figure out a running game, maybe Elliott can come back for the 15th time. But I like I said, I think the Giants have an opportunity to stifle parts of your offense because of the fact that I mean, literally, like I said, with Turbin, and I understood the way you were mixing him in. I see the way you're playing him now, that he's going to be not just returning kicks, but he's also going to be coming out of the backfield, which gives you another option. But you got to admit, going up against the Giants front four, if we can get it generated, I mean, it's not the line that you guys had 4 years ago. It's not a bad line, but it's not that line that is the ultimate strength of your team, your offensive line, that is, going up against the Giants, which hopefully is going to be a better pass rush than we had against Washington.
Yeah, I give you that. I like y'all defensive line, actually. Brian Burns is very, very underrated to me. I think he's a monster, actually. Him, and I like Abdul Carter, too, coming out of Penn State. I don't know if he's there yet, right this second, but I think he's going to be a game changer later on in his career. And I like Dexter Lawrence, of course. Like he's an animal, 6'4", 320. Like he's crazy. He's a lot to deal with. But we drafted a player that's supposed to be an answer. Now I'm not saying he's gonna dominate them. I just need him to hold his own. That's what I'm looking for. Like a player like Dexter Lawrence, you gotta ask for them to just hold their own. So we got Tyler Booker out of Alabama, out of the great state of Alabama. And he's going to be assigned to deal with him and some help. So I hope we can be able to, hold our own against Dexter Lawrence. That's all you can hope for. But when it comes to y'all edges, I like Thibodeau too. I like him too. Like y'all D-line is the strength of y'all team, according to me.
You like him a lot better than I do.
You don't like Thibodeau?
Kayvon Thibodeau to me and Brian Burns are technically Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter. If you take a look at them, they're carbon copy players. They're both undersized. They're all three are undersized defensive ends that don't know how to set the edge and have problems with containment in the run and maintaining their assignment when they're defensive ends. And both of them, in reference to Burns and Thibodeau, if you go back to the totality of their career, they each have a propensity of disappearing for extended periods of times. There'll be games last year. Kayvon Thibodeau 2 years ago had like 10.5 sacks. Problem was they all came like in 5 games. And last time I checked, it's a 17-game season, Brian Burns, even going back to his best season in Carolina, he had multitudes of games where he didn't have a sack, and he also had like 4 or 5 games. We actually broke it down on our channel where he didn't have a tackle. He didn't have a solo tackle. So we need consistency out of out of our defensive line. And bringing in Abdul Carter, I personally, as a Giant fan, thought it was a mistake because of the fact that you're bringing in a guy that skill set matches the other 2 guys that you just drafted 3 years ago and traded for last year. And he has an issue if you go back to his career at Penn State. His second year as an off-the-ball linebacker starting, he had a 25.9% missed tackle percentage. Yikes. Which is one of the reasons why they moved him from linebacker to defensive end. Also, of course, Penn State lost a defensive end to the first round and the third round in this draft. So that's one last year. That's one of the reasons they moved him. And when people compared him to Parsons, it drove me nuts because Parsons' freshman year in Penn State, he had 81 tackles.
Yeah.
How many games do you think Parsons started that first year at Penn State, that freshman year?
Out of 12, I don't know if he played the whole year.
No, he played the whole year.
Oh, okay. He started all of them?
No, he didn't start any of them.
Wow. He's just rotational.
He's one of the true freshmen that played for Penn State that led the team in tackling without even starting a game. Yikes. And Parsons, actually, his first 2 seasons as an off-the-ball linebacker equaled 1 season of a freshman year of Parsons. I keep bringing that up because I'm so glad he's not going to be there on Sunday.
Yeah. I understand that. You know, we gonna miss him in the pass rush department for sure. But basically, like the stuff that you described for your defensive line, I basically was just saying I like them as pass rushers. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But you went to saying they can't stop the run. So hey, Dallas, I want y'all to take notes.
You can't. You guys can't run the ball, so it doesn't matter.
We ran decently against Philly though. You know, Jalen Carter wasn't there, but you know.
I was gonna say Jalen, unless you're gonna spit on Dexter Lawrence.
We might. You never know.
Listen,
I hope not. It was disgusting.
I'm the Cowboys. I'm putting that in the playbook.
Yeah. That was pretty slick of Dak. I thought that was very clever of him because it directly affected him too. You know, he got a day off in the middle almost. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I really think it's gonna be a good test for this offensive line because we do got question marks on the O-line. Like our tackle positions is iffy. Like I'm not too high on my right tackle for sure. Terrence Steele, he's a little questionable in my opinion. But then you go to the left tackle with Tyler Guyton. I believe he's turning a curve. Last year was terrible. He got benched and everything last year. But he came back this year. He got a different attitude, different mindset. He been working with Duke Manyweather. And he's pretty much changed a lot of stuff now. So, and I see some improvements. Not perfect, no. But I could say he was improved. So I'm pretty confident in Guyton. Terrence Steele, I'm going to just have to pray about him over there.
Well, I mean, praying, like I said, if the Giants can maintain at least a 3-yard, holding you guys to a 3-yard average, and push you into 3rd and longs. I mean, that's going to be their bread and butter. That's going to be when you can have 3 undersized defensive ends on the field. And on our channel, we always get accused of being negative because we also like to bring on the other side of the ball and speaking, you know, the other side of the coin. And one of the things I like to say is, yeah, if we can keep you in those 3rd and longs, the problem is this: you have a quarterback. We're going up against a quarterback like Dak Prescott who has 2 targets in Lamb and Pickens, and also a pretty good tight end. Yeah. And our corners play this Shane Bowen soft zone and Paulson Adebo and Dante Banks. We have 2 corners that are press cover corners right now who both had terrible training camps, who are not made to play in a bubble zone, a Tampa 2. They're not built for that. So my biggest issue is if you have and I've said this about every Giant opponent, if you have a quarterback who has the consistency and the ability to read a zone defense, even in a 3rd and long, if we don't get to you as quickly as possible within like 2-3 seconds, like Jaden Daniels did, we're going to get picked apart because we should have lost that game like 38-6 because he missed Deebo Samuels on a pattern that was like maybe 3 inches off his finger. We had the other one that was basically, he missed a guy wide open going towards the end zone. So if our rush doesn't get there, the way our defensive coordinator Shane Bowen plays this zone defense. I'm worried that quarterbacks like Dak, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, especially all in our division, are going to pick this zone apart if the rush doesn't get there.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in Dak versus the zone, especially with these two weapons we got now. And y'all cornerbacks don't really, do it for me either. I mean, I know Debo is he's okay, but going
Well,
up against
he's
CD,
coming off the broken legs. I mean, he didn't break. People seem to forget he didn't fracture his leg. Joe Theismann did. He broke his leg. It was a complete break. So one of the reasons why when he became a free agent with the Saints, most people in the league, because I used to work in the NFL for Tampa Bay and Miami, and I still have some people that work around the league. Most people I spoke to said the most he would have gotten was 2 years, $20 million because of the break, 10 million guaranteed, and then an out on the second deal. Now
the Giants some incentives in there too, probably. Yeah.
And the Giants gave him 54 million guaranteed 36. Now it's going to be it'll be a great move for the Giants if he plays like he did those first 3 seasons with the Saints. But with this type of injury, some players never come back to the level that they perform. So we have to kind of, as a Giant fan, we got to cross our fingers and kind of wait and see.
So y'all in the same boat I am with Terrence Steele over there, but y'all in the cornerback room, yeah. So I mean, I feel like that's our biggest strength right now. We not the greatest running team. I think we can run effectively, like enough, but our passing game, I think, is gonna be top tier. And if you mix it in with play action and stuff like that, I like the way Shotty was calling plays the first game. So we got to see, I got a report card with Shotty. I'm not all the way bought in. I like him a lot, but I just got to see it, though. I got to see it. So I seen it the first week, and I just need to keep seeing it consecutively and him being better and better because that's supposed to be the building point. You started there, you should get better throughout the year. So if he keep that up, though, I think we're going to be pretty dangerous. We got all the weapons that we need. This should be a pretty dominant win, just being honest. That's how I see this.
Well, we haven't talked about Dallas defense yet.
Go ahead.
We haven't discussed your cornerback room.
Yeah, Bland out for a couple of weeks. Yeah,
Bland out for a couple of weeks. You got another corner who just came back off an injury. And is this going to be his second game back now?
Yeah.
So I mean, we have to kind of wait and see. And you're missing a defensive presence in the middle and the left and the right and the center and the other side because
linebackers are not that great. Yeah.
Parsons basically played everywhere. And you're going up against a Russell Wilson led team. And I know Russell Wilson had a pretty pedestrian game, which is being nice.
Game.
But the issue, well, you know what I kept telling Giant fans, all Giant fans always told me he's only 36. I'm like, no, he's going to be 37 in November. And we weren't going to get the 24-year-old Russell Wilson. We were going to get a guy somewhere between Denver and the last season in Pittsburgh. Now, there's a reason why that after that 400-plus yard game that he had in Pittsburgh, against the worst passing defense I've ever seen, which was the Cincinnati Bengals, that they switched the entire offensive game plan and didn't let him audible for like 7 weeks, Russell Wilson, because they saw, like I said, Mike Tomlin, who I worked with in Tampa, because back then he was a defensive back coach. He is a guy that understands football. And he's made the playoff every single year. He's been a head coach. He's never had a losing record. He understands what he had in Russell Wilson. Now, when Giant fans got him, they thought, hell, we're getting 24-year-old Russell Wilson. I kept telling people, no, we're not getting him. We're going to get someone between those two. But he is a guy that is professional enough. Your pass rush is I'm going to say, against a better offensive line would be below average. Our offensive line is struggling. So you may have more of an ability to get to Russell. But Russell Wilson's also the type of guy that if you watch the Washington game, he hangs in the pocket.
Yeah,
he took a shot when he threw that 40-yard pass to Neighbors that I thought they killed him, but he still got the ball down the field. The Neighbors still came up with the catch. So there's still an opportunity that if we can maybe keep in the tight end, use Scatterboo more as a blocking fullback, and offer maybe another 2 seconds for Russell, I do think against your kind of depleted secondary, especially you also having a couple injuries in your safety position, that he can move the ball down the field if we keep it into a short passing game and then use Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary to control the clock and keep basically keep Dak off the field and keep it a low scoring game and win or try to win using the pass rush later in the game itself.
Yeah, from my understanding, at least for last game, your running game was struggling too, right?
Oh yeah, we couldn't run.
So you talk about controlling the clock and but I understand it's a good plan. It's a good plan.
We abandoned the running game because we got behind. And even when we were only down 16-3, the game was never in doubt for Washington. I mean, it was never in doubt. I mean, as soon as we got on offense, I was like, yeah, we can't figure out anything. Our line was just horrendous.
Honestly, I don't even think Washington is good. I don't. I'm low on Washington. I think last year was Cinderella. That's just me.
Well, last year they had one of the weakest schedules in the NFL.
Yeah.
It was kind of like when the Giants made the playoffs with Daniel Jones 3 years ago. We had the weakest schedule in the NFL. We went 7-2.
I remember
but Giant fans don't want to talk about the fact that after we went 7-2, we went 2-5-1 for the rest of the season because teams figured out you bottle up Saquon Barkley, you put the ball in Daniel Jones's hand, bad things are going to happen.
When y'all won that playoff game and paid Daniel Jones, I had a celebration on my channel. I said we was popping balls like, thank God. But hey,
I
Daniel playing ball now though. Daniel playing ball now though.
I was like, man, I mean, we Daniel Jones stole $98 million from the Giants and didn't even use a fucking gun.
Yeah.
And then he quit on the team that last season by saying, hey, listen, if you're not going to play me, just release me. And to me, I agree with Tom Brady when Tom Brady said Daniel Jones quit. And that's why certain Giant fans have this, love affair with him. So I got no love for him. Because like I said, Danny Dimes stole money from us, stopped us from drafting quarterbacks. And the times that we needed him to lose games, he didn't lose them. And then we missed out on the likes of Jaden Daniels and other quarterbacks. And then, like I said, it's just I don't even talk about that.
Y'all so crazy with the drafting too, because y'all should have been when y'all drafted Saquon, y'all should have got a quarterback, in my opinion. But they just said, "Nah, we want Saquon," and then y'all just crazy. But one thing I like about New York though, y'all are the kings of giving nicknames too quickly, and that's what I see. Because Danny Dimes got a nickname out the gate. Jeremy Lin, I know you a Knicks fan. I've been watching. Jeremy Lin got a name out the gate. Like y'all anoint somebody real quick. It might just be the New York media or something. I don't know.
People forget Linsanity was literally like 13 fucking games.
It was quick.
It was. People have this revisionistic history where they're like, oh yeah, no. It was like
which
13
one was quicker, Danny Dimes or Jeremy Lin? Because Danny Dimes.
Jeremy Lin.
Danny Dimes lasted like 3-4 games.
Yeah, but Jeremy Lin had a torn meniscus towards the end of the season, which kept him out of the entire playoffs. And then he went to Houston the next year. At least Danny Dimes got that name first,
after like week 2, right? It was so quick.
No, this makes it even worse because I was there. First preseason game against the Jets, he goes 5 for 5. Against the Jets. I like to call him the Home Depot squad because these are guys who are going to be wearing aprons in October. But he went 5 for 5, dropped, I can't remember who he threw it to in the corner. I think it was Corey Coleman, threw a touchdown in the corner of the end zone, and everyone was yelling, Danny Dimes, Danny Dimes. I'm like, he's thrown 5 passes. It's like
it was even worse than I thought. That's what
we took a kid from Duke who wasn't even supposed to go in the first 3 rounds. I remember when that day of the draft, I was listening to the radio, and one of the announcers says, there's a surprise team looking at Daniel Jones. And I remember I didn't get out of the car because I wanted to hear what it was, and I'm sitting there going, please don't beat the Giants. Please don't beat the Giants. Please don't beat the Giants. And then he goes, New York Giants. I was like, fuck.
Didn't he train with Eli or something? Because that's what gave y'all the inside on him, right? He trained with Eli, and it was like he was a shoe-in.
David Cutcliffe, the coach then of Duke, was Eli's mentor, and then Daniel Jones went to the Manning passing camp.
So Eli screws y'all again, didn't
it? Eli gave him the thumbs up to the Giants organization.
Eli didn't want nobody coming behind him and do better, probably. Like he said,
listen, he did a great job picking the worst person he possibly could pick.
He really did. Let me ask you a question. Far as I ain't gonna lie. Malik Neighbors coming out of LSU, he was my number one wide receiver. Like, I wanted to draft him, but I knew we was nowhere near him. So I am concerned about him. So how you feeling about him and his effectiveness in this game coming up?
I think against your secondary, if we can keep Russell upright and keep him in a position where he at least gets 3 seconds to look down the field. Because the biggest problem against Washington was we were trying to take deep shots, but to take a deep shot, you have to hold
time.
You got to hold the line. No matter how fast Malik is, you got to hold the line. But against this secondary, I think that he can have a field day if we can find a way to get him the ball. I mean, if I'm the Giants, Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, I'm using a rolling pocket. I'm keeping in an extra man to block. I'm trying to find a way to at least buy some time from Russell Wilson to get the ball down. Your only saving grace is right now he's still dealing with a shoulder injury, a toe injury, and a back injury. Yeah,
I didn't know he had all them injuries right now.
He's had the toe injury since LSU. That he's already talked about the fact that he may have to have surgery on it after the season. He hurt his shoulder, and I was there for during the Giant Open practices. I think there was 12 of them. I was there for 10 of them. He hurt his shoulder making a catch at one of the open practices, and they actually took him out and took him in the back of the locker room. And they said, "Oh no, it's nothing." And then going into the second to last preseason game, he's got a little bit of a back issue. So he's not at 100%, and I do think that was one of the things that he was upset about because he actually had a blow up with Brian Dable on the sideline last week, and he was just saying he was just doing it because he was being competitive. I think what happened is Marcus Lattimore wasn't even on Malik Neighbors most of the time. It was this kid, what's his name, Amos. Who was one of the rookie? I think he was a second round pick. He was on Malik most of the time. Marcus Lattimore was on Darius Slayton. Yeah. So I think he was just more frustrated, and you can kind of see he's not 100%. But you hope another week, between games that maybe he's going to get back more towards full strength. And yeah, I think even at 75%, he could still have a field day against the secondary.
Malik is ridiculous, man. I'm not gonna lie, because now that you're telling me that, it makes me have even more respect for him. Because when I seen on film, he was torching 23. I don't know who 23 is on Washington, but he was giving him the business. It was bad, and Russ was just throwing up some blind passes and just praying for it, and Malik was coming down with it. So. That dude is incredible, man. I like Malik a whole lot coming out of college. I can't hate on Malik, but he is your only weapon. So, in my opinion, I like Wendell Robinson too. But
you like Wendell Robinson?
I like his ability. I don't know, I'm sure y'all got some problems with him, but he's a quick, twitchy dude who can run routes.
I call him Papa Smurf
because he's so short.
He's got this helmet that's bigger than his shoulder pads. And
he don't got the little padding on it, do he? Because I hate that. I really hate that.
He doesn't have that. No, he doesn't have that. He's just got a big head, I think, in this little body. So I call him Papa Smurf, and he has. Most people don't even know this, but he had 90 receptions last year.
Yeah,
and for under 700 yards.
Whoa, he's doing gadget stuff.
He is a guy that. I've said this before about Giant fans. And I didn't like it when we drafted him. When you get pulled down from behind at Kentucky, you are not going to accelerate in the NFL. You're not going to make those big plays, and he hasn't. And he also has such a small and I don't know why the Giants been doing it right now because of the fact that we are kind of depleted at wide receiver. He's got such a small catch radius that when you send Papa Smurf 30 yards down the field, it never works out well.
I heard you talking about Smurf, but I didn't know what you was referring to. So now I'm glad I got to be able to put that together.
Now you got because he's the king of the Smurf village because of the fact that, and like I said, I know I'm supposed to be a giant content creator, but I've always said I'm on my channel. Yes, I'm a fan. I'm a season ticket holder since '76. Wow. I was there when they opened the Meadowlands and we lost too. We lost to Dallas in that opening game.
As you should. Yeah.
I was there when we opened up MetLife. I was there for the '86 Super Bowl. I was there for the 2000 Super Bowl, even though we got blown out. So I've been a Giant fan forever. But my channel, I don't look at the Giants from the perspective of the fan. I look at it as a perspective of someone that worked in the NFL. I worked in the Arena Football League. I take a look at it from a football perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And certain players like Wan'Dale Robinson, while they may be fan favorites, when your average reception is 3 yards off the line and you have a 90 reception season and you don't even crack 600 yards, there is a problem, which tells me you do not have the acceleration or the moves to get past that first level into the second level.
He's quicker than fast. What did he run? What he ran?
I don't even remember what he ran. But
I know he looks very quick on film. I'll say that. He looks very quick.
To your point, I think he's quick. I don't think he's fast.
Yeah, it's a difference.
I always says that we should use him in a Darren Sproles model, kind of like he did in San Diego, kind of like Darren Sproles did it in Philadelphia. But the problem is Darren Sproles had speed. Yeah. And the problem is if you're throwing a guy the ball 3 yards off the line and he only has like in 7 to 8 yard, reception or even less than that, or sometimes no yak, there's a fundamental problem there. And the fact that I don't think he's ever, if you watch him catch, and it was funny because we had Carl Banks on one of our shows a couple of weeks ago. Even Carl Banks says, he doesn't think that Wan'Dale has learned how to completely catch the ball yet in the NFL, which tells me he does not have a large enough catch radius that a quarterback can make a mistake. Like CeeDee Lamb, if you throw off to the left or you throw off to the right, when he finds his arms, he can make those catches.
When he bring them back to Dallas,
yeah. But Wan'Dale, you throw him anywhere outside of his catch radius, which is so small, he doesn't make the catch.
That's wild. Like, so I was thinking that I like the way y'all try to use Wan'Dale Robinson because I can put Turpin in that same type of position. Cause we struggling trying to find a way to use Turpin more and more. Like this shot at first game. So I just think the world of Turpin. I think he's so like fast, explosive. He can do a lot more than what we've seen. So it just feel like with you being somebody that worked in the NFL, was you like an offensive guy or defensive guy?
I actually worked this was early 2000s. So I worked mainly with the defensive side of the ball, but I also worked kind of with the whole team because there's a system people got to remember back in the 2000s, which doesn't seem that long ago, the internet wasn't that great. Everyone thinks every way the internet now is, and there was a system called the XOS digital replay system. And it was the first time ever, and Tampa was one of the first NFL teams to use it, that you could literally record the practices, put it up on a server, and then coaches could watch it anywhere they want on their laptops. Wow. And we started running this through we started using this mainly with the defense. So my job in the beginning was I was in charge of running the systems, running the plays, and charting the plays. So I did that for 2 seasons. Then I did that for 1 year in Miami. And then when I worked in the AFL, I did a little bit of everything front office wise. I always tell people from player relations to at one point in time I thought I was selling popcorn or even sales or anything else.
Do it all.
We in the AFL, not the original AFL, but in the Arena Football, like you literally had to do everything.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, like, do you like the way y'all use Wan'Dale? Because I could see Turpin just being a copy paste type guy to fit in that same type of role.
I liked Turpin when he was in the USFL. When he was playing for I watched him when he was playing with the Jersey Generals, or New York Jersey / Generals, or whatever they were until they changed it to the UFL. I liked the way that he played there. I thought last year when you guys had him, if there was we talked about the Darren Sproles model a few minutes ago. If there was somebody that I could fit into the Darren Sproles mold to be a third down back, a punt returner, a kickoff returner, a guy that you can also put in the backfield and run the ball, a guy you can also take out of the backfield, a guy you can line up in the slot with speed, it would be someone like Turpin.
He was doing all of that in high school and at
exactly.
TCU. He was doing it all. So I just want to channel that in the NFL. Like he's carved out a decent career for himself. He got paid. We gave him a small little contract to stay around. So
Yeah.
I just want to see us. It just feel like it's so much more we could do with him, and we just don't see it. You know, it's like we got a governor on him. Like he got so much ability, but we only see so little. So
Yeah.
we just want to see him get incorporated into the offense a little more. But let me see. What is your main concern for the game? You know, according like game planning against the Cowboys. What's your main concern?
My main concern is Dak showing up. Just
He always
finding,
shows up now
just
against y'all.
that's my main concern. No, him literally just finding the fucking stadium.
Oh, you saying he pulling up is a problem?
Yeah, that's a problem. That's
That's
a
respect
problem
right there. That's respect
because
right there.
I go back to 2 years ago, opening day, Sunday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Queen Latifah singing the national anthem. I was actually, as a season ticket holder, I was on the field holding the huge American flag that they had going on, all the fireworks, all the pomp, all the circumstance. And I remember getting back to my seat and it already being 14-0. Cowboys.
you barely even got comfortable.
And I remember going into halftime, it was like 26-3. And I said to my buddy sitting next to me, I said, I think we can come back. I think we got a shot. And he's like, they may drop fucking 50. And I was like, yeah, I said, that's possible. And I remember that the game itself was kind of a sloppy game. And it was raining, but somehow Dak, Michael Gallup, all these other plays got the ball out and moved the Dallas offense in this muck, in this mire, and just kicked the shit out of the Giants.
Yeah, see, I love that though, because to me, the way I operate, if you whoop my team, I got respect for you.
I have to. I gotta give you
some people not like that. Do you know that? Like some people not like that, Tim. Like some people like they'll just say, he's still trash. Cause like Dak was whooping the Eagles around too. But they fan base say he's terrible. He's the worst. I don't get it. Cause guess what? Our Achilles heel been the 49ers. I got mad respect for the 49ers. Like I don't say nothing bad about the 49ers. Like they whoop us every time we come around. So why would I say that? So that's mad respect right there because Dak he got some stake in New York over there with the Giants.
Oh yeah,
he really did.
Now my question is, coming off the injury, I'm not going to say he's at an advanced age, but is the way he moved against Philadelphia, I was kind of concerned as a Giant fan.
Yeah.
Because I did not think he was going to move that well against Philadelphia. And of course it was out Carter, but Philadelphia still has a pass rush. Philadelphia still has linebackers, and the way he moved in the pocket, I was kind of upset because I was like, well, shit, he can still run. He can still move.
Yeah.
I was hoping that he was going to come out maybe with a limp, maybe with a cane.
Yeah, looking like he in pain.
Yeah, but he looked like the same guy. And this is kind of where I was going with the opening day story. He kind of looked like the same guy that was able to maneuver and move in that rain against one of the better defenses in the NFL in Philadelphia. So I think this whole game is going to be reliant on if you guys can use Dak to score. I do think if you set us up with your receivers, I do think the Giants can slow down or stop the running game to a point where we're going to make you throw. But the problem is if we make you throw, I'm concerned that our secondary, because Holland, who came over from Miami, the safety, he last year had one of the worst seasons a safety could have, that no one really wanted to touch him this year because there was such a big drop from his play from 2 years ago to what he was last year. And he didn't play well. He didn't play well last Sunday.
Yeah.
And our corners are suspects on the edges right now. Drew Phillips, who a lot of Giant fans love, another Kentucky guy, they love him because he can make the tackle. But the problem is this: no one understood, or no one still understands a lot in our fan base, is he gives up 75% completion percentage last year for over 300 yards, for over 10 yards of reception. It's great if you could. It's great if you could make the tackle, but here's the problem: Deion Sanders, I think his biggest tackle season was like 58, his fourth year with Atlanta. And then it would go like 36, 28, 32.
Because
But
ain't nobody catching it.
no, you don't catch the ball. You don't have to make the tackle. And that's what
Yeah.
a corner needs to do. And last week against Jaden Daniels completed 75% of his passes for 33 plus yards, almost 10 yards of reception against Drew Phillips in the slot. So my concern is and also we can't cover the tight end. Zach
And
Ertz,
you know CeeDee gonna be in the slot too sometimes. So
and that's what we're gonna get to that in a second. But we couldn't cover a 497-year-old Zach Ertz
because he's a shadow of himself right now.
I think he's older than I am.
The whole Washington team is old, in my opinion.
Well,
I just said they have a wheelchair accessible locker room over there. They old.
They are the second oldest team in the league at 27 years old. 27.
I didn't even know that, to be honest.
But
I'm just thinking about the players that they have.
But but here's the thing that most people don't know about that number. Their kicker is like 40 years old.
Wow.
Their punter is like 38. So and Barry Wagner is
Bobby
like 36.
Wagner and
Debo
older too.
Yeah, but once you take out those four guys, the number drops down to like 24 years old.
Oh, okay. They driving it up. Oh, that's
yeah. These, like I said, when your kicker and punter average age is 39, who fucking cares?
Lattimore older too, though. The corner they just brought in.
He's not that old. He's
about 30. He 30, right?
I think but 30 is not old. When you hit 50, when you hit 50, come and talk to me. I played corner.
I think that's
when I played corner in college. I think I can still play at 50. I think I can still go out there and play. And I got 2 years left now that they changed with the NIL deals and they changed the rules.
Yeah,
I got 2 years of eligibility left. I'm thinking about coming back.
You're gonna go back. You're gonna make a comeback.
I'm gonna make one more comeback. But
I said I go to tight end. I gained a lot of weight. I go to tight end. I used to be a wide receiver. I can play tight end. I can give you at least 2 catches right now. I can do it.
Well, I don't think I jokingly told people, I said I don't think I can run 6 yards. I think I'll be laying on the ground gasping for air if I got to run you
2 reps
or anything.
2 reps, one catch a rep, and I'm done.
Well, see, at least you got 2 reps out of that, though. But like I said, yeah, that's a skewed a little bit though. But your tight end situation is not as, like I said, is actually in some ways better than Washington. Yeah. And the Giants linebacking core has not been able to cover a tight end since like Antonio Pierce back in 2007.
So what you telling me is Jake Ferguson better have a good night, a good evening.
Jake, you should, if I was the offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, and I always tell people, I always look at it from a different perspective. I'm the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys. The way I'm attacking the Giant defense is I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a rope-a-dope here. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to set you up with the run. I'm going to try to run no matter, even if I'm only getting 2-3 yards, I'm going to try to run, even if I'm in 3rd and 7.
We're going to keep it on your mind.
I'm just going to keep it on the mind. And then what I'm going to do is, if I'm the Giants defense corner, I'm going to creep. I'm going to bring those safeties up a little bit. I'm going to maybe bring my corner up a little bit. And then if I'm the Cowboys, then I'm going to take advantage of the over-aggressiveness of the Giants defensive line, take a couple 2-step drops, wait till they go past, either throw into the middle of the field or Jake Ferguson, or have Dak take off, which should be a clean open pocket into the middle of the field, because all you have to do is, if you're one-on-one, last week, Washington blocked our stalwart line at times with one-on-one. So if you can get your tight end out into coverage, you can literally open up the middle of the field against the Giants, because Bobby Okereke is not known for his ability to cover the tight end. Micah McFadden is out. So I would attack the middle of the field with the Giants. Then once you start attacking with the middle of the field, what Giants are probably going to do is they're going to probably take the over-the-top safety, bring him more towards the middle of the field, which is going to put one-on-one with either Pickens or Lamb.
Yeah,
and then take a shot down the field going that way as well.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening, because Jake need a big day too. Jake been struggling. Like last year, he had 0 touchdowns, and it's Jake Ferguson. Now I know Dak wasn't here, but if other people can catch touchdowns, guess what? He can catch them too, and he had 0. So we looking at Jake with a side eye, like, hey, you need to tighten up. You need to get a little better. We need a little more production out of you. We brought in George Pickens, and we got CeeDee on the other side. You don't have a lot of attention on you. The middle of the field should be
Be
yours
open.
for the keeping. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like you just
Yep.
said, that you're gonna have split safeties. You're gonna have a middle field open. You gotta be able to take advantage of that. Like we threw a couple seam balls. Dak underthrew one, and the other one was perfect for a touchdown, and he dropped it. You know, he was taking out the CD, I guess, but he dropped it too. Dak put it perfectly in his hands. They all just did Dak dirty last game. Like Dak is not perfect. He don't always have perfect games, but that was a damn good Dak game. And I think they just dropped the ball. So hopefully they redeem themselves and actually catch the passes that he put in their hands.
I hope
It's
they
a
don't.
must. I hope they do. So,
I hope they don't. I hope he doesn't find his arms. Hope he leaves them in the car in the parking lot.
So
Leaves
I'll
them in the
say
locker room.
this. My main concern with y'all, and I already told you who it was, it's Malik Neighbors. Like I don't want no smoke with him. I wish we was playing man, but we got Matt Eberflus. He likes zone a lot.
You like
and
zone as well.
I would feel a lot better if I had Trey shadowing Malik. Now I know he's not gonna shut down Malik, but Trey do well in those situations. He done played better receivers in the league. I think Malik got a high ceiling, so he just don't have a better resume than those guys. But
Yeah.
I've seen him go man-to-man with Justin Jefferson and shut him down. I done seen him go man-to-man with A.J. Brown last game. One reception. A.J. blew up on the sideline. Like, he was mad. But we was playing zone. But I've seen him shut down some very, very good wide receivers. So I would be at least comfortable that he can slow down Malik at least to some degree. So, but with us playing zone, like he's gonna have his areas. It all depends on if Russ can find them in time or if he can find them at all. Cause he had 20 incompletions last game, man. So I'm looking at Russ like food. Is that fair? Like I know you had some good things to say about Russ, but if he coming into the game with 20 incompletions, I don't even know how many quarterbacks have done that in recent memory.
Listen, when we first signed Russ, I said the best thing about Russ was Sierra. And
I ain't gonna lie, I got some real disrespectful names. I call him Mr. Sierra. So
I think a lot of Giant fans will start doing this too if they have a bad week. And I always remind people that you got to remember when Melo came to New York, you know, Lala wanted to go to New York.
Yeah.
Because of her career. What happened? They got divorced.
Yeah.
So I always tell people I think Russ needs to worry what Sierra's up to, and I think that's why he wasn't concentrating last week because he wasn't home.
Yeah, because she might got other plans. What you saying?
That's what I'm saying. But I'm not saying that. But that's what I'm thinking. He might have just been off a little bit last week. But I think Russell's going to have a better game than he had against Washington. I think the offensive line has to
I want to know your reasoning. Like, please tell me your reasoning.
This
This
is me putting the fan hat on now. This is me putting the Giant fan hat on now.
That's fair.
The offensive line cannot be as bad as they were last week.
Why not? They should.
I know they should, but they can't be. As a fan, putting the fan hat on, they can't be.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that Carmen Berselli, who was the offensive line coach, came in because he brought in some guys from the Raiders, some players from the Raiders, and we got rid of our other offensive line coach. Of course, went to Washington and did a great job in Washington. So the team outside of one position, Andrew Thomas, who is now questionable. No, he's doubtful now. He's not. Doubtful.
He's our best tackle, right? He's the best one.
He would be the best tackle in the league if he ever stayed healthy. But when everyone knows that if you are doubtful, you're not playing. If you're probable or questionable, you're playing. You're doubtful, you're not playing. So he's not playing. But the continuity of the offensive line has been this. It's the same 4 starting guys from last year outside of the left tackle position. Yes, the left tackle position is the most important position in the league in reference to the offensive line.
Yeah.
So you figure that your front line is not as dominating. Neither was Washington's, but your front line is not overly dominating. I like Clark, who you got for Parsons. I've watched him play a bunch in with the Packers, but you don't have this huge dominating front. You don't have a Dexter Lawrence in the middle.
Nah, we got somebody that's a notch under, maybe a notch or so under.
I would say a couple notches.
I like him.
Good player, but he's not Dexter Lawrence.
Dexter is different. I give you that.
The Giants, and you don't have this fierce pass rush that the Giants have seen before. So you would think the continuity of the line would get better with additional playing time. and the ability to play together. But we have to figure out the left tackle position. I don't want to put Marcus Bowe, the rookie, out there. Hubbard, who we had out there last week, we should have just left in Washington. We should have took his bus pass away and just said, "Listen, dude, just stay here."
Just stay over there.
Because we don't need you. We would rather play with 4 guys than play with you. But he's going to have to play. So I would hope the continuity of the line, at least the right side of the line, is going to play better. I worry about JMS, our center, because of the fact that when he came out of Minnesota, he was an undersized center. And I know a lot of people would tell I like Joe Tippmann. I did not like him coming out of college. JMS, that is. I didn't like him because I found it interesting that he lost weight coming out of Minnesota. And he was an undersized center who, in my mind, who is a wrestler that does not understand leverage.
John Michael Smith he's one of the ones that I've been looking at that Clark should dominate him. It should be ugly for him.
Clark should dominate him, and people forget JMS, his first year in the league, he led the league in centers and holding penalties.
That's great.
Which is crazy because centers should not be. You're in the middle. You should not be getting holding.
You got help. Yeah.
You should be able to hold someone and call it a day. And then last year he led the leagues in sacks allowed by a center.
Hold on, it sounds like he don't know how to hold. That's the problem.
Because you know what?
It's a technique to holding as a center. Yeah. You don't supposed to be seen doing it.
No,
what is he doing?
The old expression that I always use from when I played was, especially as a center, you get underneath and you grab them by the tits.
Yeah.
And then you get underneath those pads, and if you do it the right way, you're holding, but you're not holding.
Nobody can see it. Yeah.
Nobody can see it. And he doesn't seem to understand how to use that leverage, and he's undersized. So Clark, like I said, I think could have a big day, but if you use a floating pocket, if you roll him out consistently, Russell Wilson, that is, if you go to the quick passes, try to set up the running game with Tyrone Tracy, and then go play action, and you throw the moon ball. And if you're throwing that moon ball,
concern.
If you throw that moon ball and Malik's underneath it, there's a good opportunity that something good is going to come out of that.
That's why I want Trayvon Diggs there. He's the only person I trust with the ball in the air like that. Because I'm not going to lie. As a receiver, I know DBs, they just can't catch. That's one thing that everybody knows. Like, if you could catch, you would be a receiver. So if you throw the ball that high, they get nervous. They don't know what's going on. So that's why that ball is so effective, the moon ball by Russell Wilson. Like, that's why it's really effective.
I'm not going to lie to you. I want Diggs there, too, because Diggs isn't the player he was 3 years ago.
How you know?
I could tell.
It's a question mark. It's a question mark.
He's a question mark. But how many times when you come off that type of injury do you get better with age?
That's fair. That's fair.
And the injury itself. So in my mind, if you put Diggs, you guys basically stifled Devontae Smith and AJ Brown using this zone, which I never thought you guys would do, using this zone style defense.
I don't even like zone, but it was so effective.
It was so effective that you lost the game because but you literally took this, and this is kind of the game plan that I think that the Cowboys could use against the Giants. Is kind of the Eagle game plan. You lost because of Jalen Hurts. You lost because of
the scrambling and CeeDee. These three factors: the scrambling by Jalen, I give them that. And then CeeDee drops and Miles Sanders fumble. Those three critical moments is the reason we lost.
Now, if you take a look at that game plan, though, if you're sending Pickens and Lamb deep and you have Ferguson in the middle of the field, more than likely you're pulling the secondary deeper out of the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Which, if the Giants over pursue, and like I said earlier, you're going to leave
over the top.
You're going to leave the entire middle of the field wide open to go over the top, or Dak's just going to take off because there's going to be no one in front of him between the line of scrimmage and 30 yards down the field.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. I can't wait.
How's it not for us, but yeah.
But man, this has been great, man. I really like this conversation we had, Mr. Tim. I say this. Give me your final score. I know a lot of people don't like score predictions, but hey, it's football. We having fun. What you think the score would be for the end of the game?
Right now, FanDuel has this as a 5.5 point game for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by 5.5. Last week, the Giants were 6.5 point underdogs.
Oh, so they're going down.
So they're going down a little bit though. So I don't know if that's more of a disrespect for the Cowboys or maybe a little bit more respect for the Giants. I think the Giants, if they, like I said, if they can figure out how to get Tyrone Tracy going, if they can figure out how to set up that play action, and Russell Wilson to me is a competent enough quarterback that if you're going to run a zone against, you got to remember Washington played a lot of man to man.
Yeah, I wish we would, but
you guys are doing that. So Russell is, like I said with Dak, Russell is a professional quarterback. He is a guy that if you give him a little bit of time, maybe go to more of a short passing game, I think he can pick apart a zone defense. And I think he's done it, extremely well going back to Seattle, even doing his time in Denver.
I would roll some coverage over Malik though, because that's the only person I'm worried about. Like if we roll coverage over Malik, and then we make sure we keep contained on the outside for Russ so he won't scramble, and make sure he stay in that pocket because that's he's a shorter guy. You don't want him to get around. Now like you said, if he move the pocket, that's better for him. But we want to keep him in contain and make sure he have to make these throws over the bigger offensive lineman. I think that'll be in our best interest right though.
I think that would be, but I think the Giants, Giants had a running game last year, and this is a team that you got a second year with Tyrone Tracy. I like Devin. I'm not a huge fan of Devin Singletary, but he is a professional running back. He's a guy that actually came in last week, had 2 positive plays, and then we never went back to him. I don't understand Mike Kafka. You weren't running all game long. You're bringing a guy who has 2 positive plays, and you're like, we're not gonna play him anymore. that we can't cover the spread that way. But I think if the Giants can establish the running game, keep the pocket flowing, keep it, like I said, Russell is a rhythm passer. You get Malik involved early. I think the Giants can take this one 24-21. I think it'll be a long Graham Gano field goal at the end of the game.
So you thinking the pass rush is gonna stifle the offense? Because that's the only way I see us only 21.
I think the Giant pass rush is going to show up. Abdul Carter, in my mind, I've said this before about him. I didn't like the Giants taking him at 3 because you can't take a guy that has similar skill sets as 2 guys you already have on the team. Yeah. But I think his speed, I've said this before and Giant fans hate it. He reminds me of Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff of the Jets had 10.5 sacks 2 years ago, but had 28 tackles. And then he got paid in Philly and he became nothing because they took him out of what he did best. You bring what they did with the Giants and Abdul Carter in preseason is they rotated him in on natural passing downs and third downs.
Yeah.
So create the mismatch because my biggest concern is they're going to use him as an off the ball linebacker or a weak side linebacker. And you guys are just going to, if I've said it before, and this is what happened in Washington. That's why they ran for 220 yards and 32 carries. If I'm Washington and I see Abdul Carter, I'm running right at him. I'm not going around him. I'm going to go right at him because of the fact that I know he's got a problem making tackle in space. He's got a problem making tackles in the open field. So I'm gonna make him stop the run because there's a great saying that is you have to earn your right to rush the passer.
Exactly.
Which means if you cannot maintain your assignment and control the run, you don't have the right to rush the passer. So you have to make Abdul Carter, maintain his assignment and be able to stop the run. But if you use him just as a third down asset and use his speed, you create a mismatch. And Dak
stopping the run is the first thing. Yeah.
But stopping the run is the first thing. But if you don't use him in that way, you use him just as a rotational pass rusher. I've said it before. I don't care if he's got I think he can have 30, 40 tackles, but I also can see him getting 12.5 sacks, especially just being a situational pass rusher. Yeah, and I think that's what the way they can stop Dak is not allow him the time to look downfield. And I think you can do that. But like I said, if we can keep the running game stymied enough that we're putting you in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, then you bring in your situational pass rushers. You have Dexter Lawrence in the middle of the field, and you bring the heat, and you pray to God that our secondary holds up.
That's the only thing I'm worried about because I think Dak can handle the outside pressure, but if Dexter getting off in the middle, that's a death sentence. Cause I love my interior offensive lineman though. Like I think BB took a step in his second year, and then Tyler Booker right there. Of course, we just extended Tyler Smith. I think he's probably the best or second best guard in football. So with those three right there, I think they might have to triple team Dexter or something. Like we can't have no interior pressure because I think that'll be a death sentence for the whole offense. I think we can just push some of those outside rushers out to play. You know, you don't have to. It don't take much. If they want to rush outside, you just give them a little nudge on even further outside. And Dak step up in the pocket.
One of Kayvon Thibodeau's biggest flaws is, and he still does it, he cuts his rushes too wide.
That's
and
beautiful.
he doesn't cut it back inside quick enough.
Yeah.
One of the things, Brian Burns, like I said, to me is a really good player who disappears at times, but in my mind, Brian Burns is a professional pass rusher.
His first step is crazy.
It's crazy and understands how to get to the quarterback. Kayvon uses his speed, and I worry about this with Abdul Carter. But to your point, if I'm playing tackle and I'm going against a speed guy that I know is not going to be quick to cut it inside, I'm just pushing
gonna shove him outside. Yeah.
I'm just taking him to the sideline and calling it a Dak.
And Dak gonna have enough time because you too wide. So I love it. I ain't too worried about your edges, even though they talented. But I feel like Dak will be able to handle that with some quick reads and some chip blocks. I think we'll be able to game plan that. That's actually one of my report card moments. I'm looking at Shotty like, hey, we not that strong on the edge. They got some good edge rushers. You're gonna have the game plan to make sure we neutralize that. If you can't do that, that's gonna be a failure for you. So I'm looking at Shotty like he's new. All our coaches are new. So they still up for evaluation for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving them no passes. Like they got things that they gotta do. They got homework. So I'll say, the way I attack y'all, I think the game plan is for sure is to, like I said, push the edges outside, make sure there's no interior pressure, and then attack y'all cornerbacks. Like I got CeeDee Lamb. I really don't care who the corner is outside of him, as long as he catch the ball. But I don't care what corner line up in front of CeeDee. I still feel good about it. George Pickens, your second corner, I feel good about it. So, with those two players, man, and y'all running zone, I feel like Dak could have a field day if he get awarded enough time. So I'm not worried about my passing game. The running game, I feel like that's going to be a little iffy because I do like our defensive line. But if we can get a run game going, which I think we'll be okay, if we can get a run game going, I feel like this score will get crazy. I feel like it'll get real bad. That's the whole deciding factor of how bad this game going to be. If we get a good running game going, the passing game is going to be unstoppable with play action and all of that. That's when the things get crazy. So I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. So I say I'm looking at maybe like 30 to like 17. I think y'all will get a touchdown, then another touchdown, and now a touchdown, then a field goal, then a late touchdown. So I think it'll be something like that. But
listen, I'm happy you gave us 17 points.
I think it'll be the last touchdown will be in garbage time. So
of course,
I don't think it'll matter.
It still counts as 6.
Yeah, you're right about that. But this was great, man. Make sure you let the people know where to find you at, man, because I think you did a great job representing your Giants, man. I really do.
Well, of course, you can find us on YouTube at New York Giants Straight Talk at onlineBigBlue.com also as well. But we're also on the Believe Network. So if you go to Believe.com or any place that you find podcasts, we're under New York Giants Straight Talk. We do a Sunday show every Sunday at 10 a.m. And we do a post-game show on Mondays at 11 a.m. as well. And then we do a couple streams during the week. But mainly, like I said, mainly the podcast is found up any place you can find podcasts on the Believe Network as well. And like I said, it's been a pleasure to chop it up with you here and talk a little shop. Yeah. And I'm gonna forgive you for being a Cowboy fan. I still haven't forgiven the Cowboys for giving us Craig Morton back in the 70s, which we gave you Randy White in return. Yeah. But like I said, it's always been a fun rivalry with the Cowboys, with the Commanders, with the Eagles, and like I said, to your point, I respect all teams in the league, and especially within our division, because our division for years had been one of the greatest divisions.
It's the greatest. It
in
is the
football.
greatest division, I believe.
Yeah.
Especially with Super Bowls. Before you go, favorite Cowboy.
Oh, favorite Cowboy?
I'm gonna be fair because I got a favorite Giant. I'm gonna give it to you.
Favorite Cowboy. In reference to his play against us, I got to go Danny White because Lawrence Taylor would kill him every single play.
Yeah, I mean outside of the obvious, Lawrence Taylor.
I'm an old school guy, so I love Roger Staubach. I love Roger the Dodger. I think he was a guy when he did that 5-year commitment to Navy that he literally. And I got to give Gil Brandt credit at the time as well. They took a guy that went to the Navy for 5 years, went to Vietnam, and he came in every training camp. He had 2 weeks off from the Navy. He would come in and go to training camp. The Cowboys literally sent him footballs. I don't know if a lot of people know. I mean, old Cowboy fans probably know. So they literally sent him footballs to Vietnam so he could practice and run the Cowboys playbook. And there was a great story that they had sent him a batch of footballs, and he called the Cowboys up a week later and said, "Could you send me more?" And he's like, "Well, we just sent you a bunch." And he goes, we the Viet Cong came and there were some explosions and the footballs blew up. So he's like, you got to kind of send me some more.
Yeah,
and for
he in the trenches.
The guy that came in and competed with Craig Morton, who again, like I said, came with the Giants, came in and won Super Bowls and kind of changed the face of your franchise to make you into America's team. I mean, like I said, you gotta start with number 12, Roger the Dodger. So that's probably always one of my favorite Cowboys ever.
That's great, man. Jared just called him the greatest Cowboy like the other day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he just said that was his all-time Cowboy. But my favorite Giant, I'll say, and this might be a cult favorite, but I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 86, so I grew up in the 90s. I used to love Jerry Mishaki, man. I don't know why. It was something about Jerry Mishaki. It just felt like he was so good to me, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I used to watch him all the time. He used to make a lot of great plays. And he was just always one of my favorite players, man. I did like Jerry Mishaka a whole lot. So I give him that props. Outside the obvious people. It was just one of my personal favorites. But yeah.
Well, Shockey is probably outside of Mark Bavaro, he's probably one of the best tight ends we ever had.
He was dope to me, man. He really
was. You have to go back to his career at Miami. You got to go back to his career at the U, man. I mean, they had a team. I mean, teams of not only centuries, but decades and centuries that those early Miami teams that just all the guys
Mike Irvin,
all the guys that went in the first round, that Shockey that went from Miami, it was incredible. I mean, like I said, Shockey to us, it ended poorly in 2007. That he missed the Super Bowl, and then we got rid of him in 2008. But he is probably also one of my favorite Giants.
Yeah, that's cool right there. But I go by Landlord from Alabama with the same handle on all social media, man. It's been great. I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. Y'all have a good day, man. Salute to you, and good game, man. Hope no injuries and a Cowboys victory for sure.
So when we win 24-21, you're coming on my show and admitting that I was 100% right.
Hey, that's fine. I'm not gonna run because when you said post game, I'm like, we gonna be tuning in to that post game because I know you're gonna be doing a lot of cussing on that.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, if we lose 35-17, I'm busy that day, so don't call me.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Hey man, good show, man. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right.